There is something profoundly mysterious about the way ideas travel. Unlike material possessions, ideas are weightless, formless, and invisible, yet they carry the ability to shift nations, transform communities, and awaken the deepest parts of the human heart. The invisible power of shared ideas is not merely a book about communication or knowledge. It is a meditation on how ideas live within us, how they multiply when shared, and how they shape the unseen fabric of our collective lives. At its heart, the book reveals that no idea is truly born in isolation. When a thought stirs in the mind of an individual, it is never just personal, it is an echo of countless influences, whispered wisdom, and ancient experiences flowing through the collective human story. A single spark of an idea may appear to belong to us, but once spoken, once shared, it takes flight, weaving itself into the consciousness of others. It grows, it evolves, and it finds new expressions. The invisible power of shared ideas is this: they are seeds we plant in the soil of another's heart, often without realizing that we are gardeners of transformation. The author begins with stories of history. We are reminded how the world has shifted not by force alone, but by the unseen current of thought. It was not the sword that moved humanity toward freedom, but the idea that every soul is worthy of dignity. It was not machines alone that built modern civilization, but the idea that creativity and curiosity could unlock nature's secrets. Ideas, the book teaches, are the silent architects of reality. Nations are born from them, movements are fueled by them, and lives are reshaped by the simple act of one mind sharing its vision with another. But the message goes beyond history. The author reflects on the intimate spaces of daily life. Imagine, they suggest, a single word of encouragement offered to someone in despair. That word, a small idea clothed in sound, may become the difference between giving up and persevering. A parent sharing hope with a child, a teacher planting the seed of possibility in a student, or even a stranger reminding us that kindness exists. These moments demonstrate the invisible ripple of ideas at work. They teach us that we are never as powerless as we think, for even in silence, the exchange of thought and belief shapes the unseen atmosphere around us. One of the central insights of the book is the reminder that ideas are not static. They evolve, much like rivers that shift course when they meet new landscapes. An idea that begins in one mind is transformed when it is carried into another. A thought of justice in one generation might become a movement of equality in the next. A dream of invention might lead to technologies beyond the imagination of its originator. This is why the author calls ideas living entities. They do not remain fixed, they grow, adapt, and take on a life of their own when they are shared. The author weaves this insight into practical wisdom. If we wish to influence the future, we must tend carefully to the ideas we nurture and release into the world. Just as a careless word can wound for years, a generous thought can inspire for generations. The book encourages us to ask ourselves, what am I sharing through my words, my actions, my presence? Am I spreading fear, division, and doubt, or am I planting courage, unity, and hope? One particularly moving passage reflects on the power of shared suffering and healing. When we tell our stories of pain, we offer others the permission to speak their truths. And when those truths are shared, a deeper healing unfolds, not only for the teller but for the listener as well. This cycle of mutual courage creates a silent, invisible bond between human beings. It reminds us that no pain is wasted if it is transformed into wisdom that can guide another soul. The book also emphasizes the danger of misused ideas. Just as ideas can liberate, they can also enslave. History shows us how destructive ideologies, when shared and amplified, have led to wars, oppression, and hatred. The author warns us to be discerning about the ideas we allow into our lives and the ones we choose to pass on. We are not passive vessels, we are active gatekeepers. Every idea that finds shelter in our mind can either illuminate or darken the path of those around us. Practical relevance shines throughout the text. The author does not dwell in abstraction, instead, they offer examples from everyday life. Consider how social media today is a living laboratory of shared ideas. A single phrase, image, or story can circle the globe within hours, inspiring millions or misleading them. The book asks us, what is the responsibility of each individual in this vast web of shared thought? The answer lies not in withdrawing from the conversation, but in participating with integrity, awareness, and kindness. There is a deeply spiritual undercurrent running through the message. The author suggests that ideas are not merely human inventions, but glimpses of something greater, fragments of truth, flowing from a universal source of wisdom. When we share ideas rooted in love, compassion, and creativity, we align ourselves with this higher current. In this sense, every exchange of thought is sacred. Every conversation is an opportunity to awaken a spark of divinity in another. Toward the latter chapters, the book moves into personal transformation. It asks us to reflect: which ideas have shaped me the most? Who shared them with me, and how have they lived within me? By answering these questions, we realize that our very identity is a mosaic of shared ideas. From childhood to adulthood, we are continually shaped by the words, values, and beliefs passed down to us. And yet, we are not prisoners of these influences, we are co-creators. We can choose which ideas to carry forward, which to release, and which new seeds to plant for the future. The invisible power of shared ideas, then, is both humbling and empowering. Humbling, because we recognize how much of who we are comes from the unseen gifts of others. Empowering, because we realize we too are bearers of seeds that can grow into forests of change. Every time we share a word of truth, a vision of possibility, or even a story of vulnerability, we participate in this great cycle of creation. The book closes with an invitation, not a conclusion. It asks us to see ourselves as bridges, conduits through which ideas pass, evolve, and become. We are reminded that we do not need wealth, fame, or authority to create change. We only need to be mindful of what we think, what we share, and what we embody. In a world often overwhelmed by noise and division, the most radical act is to share ideas that heal, uplift, and connect. As I reflect on the essence of the invisible power of shared ideas, I am reminded that we are never alone in our thoughts. Every whisper of wisdom, every insight of the heart, every vision for a better tomorrow has the potential to ripple far beyond us. The invisible power of shared ideas is, in truth, the invisible power of humanity itself, the quiet, unstoppable force that carries us toward becoming more than we were yesterday.